Hi, this will be my first video. I've got a Valiant comic collection that I've started over the past couple of months, and I thought I'd make a channel on it just to document how it grows before it gets too big. And if I decide to sell some things, then maybe I'll have videos of it for later. But hopefully it's entertaining as well. We'll see. But anyways, yeah, so I've got this first comic right here that I picked up at a flea market. It's a Valiant reader. It's from 1993. And the reason why I originally picked it up is because of the black back. I saw it in the bin, and I already had a few at that point, but I saw the logo, and the reader is pretty cool. Honestly, for anybody who wants to know about the Valiant comic book hero group, then that would be a good one to have, just to get you oriented to start. And I'm quite happy because that one, it's actually kind of rare, but nothing, you know, that you need to have. Just kind of a nice way to start the video off. Alright, so the next group of comics that I've managed to acquire over the last couple of months are the Unity comics. Now, I'm trying to keep this collection like all natural and just kind of build it by only hunting for it in the wild, and you know, in dollar bins and stuff like that, wherever I can find them basically. So this isn't complete yet. This is just all the comics I've managed to gather in the last couple of months. So I have here, I'll go through them one at a time for you. I have 2 Unity Chapter Zeros. Well, they're actually Chapter 1s. I got 2 of them, which is nice. One of them's in rougher shape than the first one. I got Archer and Armstrong, number 1. I'm not sure if you can, the camera picks this up, but it's super water damaged. Here, let me see if I can get that. Yeah, if you can see there, it's really super water damaged. But still a really cool comic, and I know that the Unity events, just focusing the camera here. I know that the Unity events had really high print runs, but whatever, I don't mind owning that comic for now, but I'm definitely looking to upgrade that one. This one, Magnus Robot Fighter, Chapter 4 of Unity. It's in really good shape. I got it at a comic convention for $1. What a nice find there. Shadow Man, Chapter 6 Unity. I've got that one. All these covers are by Frank Miller, so that's pretty cool. But that one's pretty faded, and I've had a chance to pick up a second one, but I passed, even though this one isn't in the best shape. So maybe in the future when I see one of these, I'll just snag it. One of my most recent ones, but also one of my least, it's in pretty bad shape, just like the Archer and Armstrong. Rye, Chapter 7. So yeah, let's see, what do I have here, just to recap so far. Got 1, 3, 4, and 6, and 7. I think I'm missing 5 and 2. Really happy to find this one. Could not believe it. I also found it at a trade comic show for $1 in a dollar bin, so really easy to snag this one, or really happy to snag this one rather. Harbinger 8, and also Chapter 8 of the Unity event. So yeah, this was one I can see going up in value. Unfortunately, mine's got a couple of staple issues, so whatever. And the last Unity comic I have is Solar Man of the Atom, and obviously he's my favorite Valiant character, so, or used to be, because they don't have Solar in it anymore, but anyway, Chapter 9 of the Unity event, and number 12. This one's in really good shape. Probably the best one out of all of them that I have. Got it for $1 at the same comic show. That was a good comic show. Alright, that's a really good segue. That's all the Unity event comics I have, but that's not my whole collection, so let's go. Next up, I've got Solar Man of the Atom number 23. And one of the things that I find with the Solar comics is that they actually have the best covers. I mean, a lot of these Valiant comics have a lot of really good covers, but yeah, these Solars are just sexy, I think. So, jumping from 23 to all the way up to 58, I think also amazing covers. I just love all the colors that they put into it. I found these ones at a used bookstore for $1. Probably they're still worth $1, but I think that these ones at the end of the Solar run are really low print runs, which I didn't know for the first few times that I saw them, and then like I learned about them because I saw them in the bins there, and then just went back the next day on my way to some classes. So went back the next day and snagged them up, and I actually have doubles of these. But yeah, just look at those covers. I think the covers on these are probably some of the best. Top 2 anyway. Alright, after the Solar, the late Solars, we've got what I've managed to collect of Bloodshot so far. I've got Bloodshot number 8. Just gotta try and focus it maybe. Yeah, Bloodshot number 8. And Bloodshot number 5. I wouldn't say either of those are in amazing condition, but they're in pretty darn good condition. But they are 90s comics, so that's something people like to... People give, I think, a little bit more leniency to like older Bronze Age and Silver Age comics when it comes to condition, but I don't know, I'm still pretty proud of those two. Really high Valiant issues of Bloodshot is pretty valuable to me because obviously Bloodshot's one of their major characters. Alright, this next comic I'm super proud of. Like, really proud of it. Archer and Armstrong 0. I found that at flea market for $1, and it is in absolutely amazing condition. I'd say it's probably a 9 or above. I was just floored when I actually managed to pick that out of the bin. Immediately put it on my taking pile. So yeah, and actually it didn't come with a bag either. It was just in there raw, and yeah, I should probably look into bagging a few of these comics. But I mean bagging and boarding. But yeah, super happy to have that Archer and Armstrong, even though it's a high print run. It seems like everybody wants this comic, and I've been watching its sales on eBay with a lot of interest, just because some of them go for a lot and some of them go for like under $5, just because I don't know, the difference in condition. And probably if I was to have this graded, I think I'd get above a 9. So I could make some money from this comic, but for now I'll just keep it because I like it. Alright, that brings us to the next section of my collection. Probably one of my better parts of the collection, I would say. I've got Ninjak 0, which is good. I picked this one up at a local comic shop for $2, which is nice. Didn't mind paying that for Ninjak 0. And then right after that is the comic that basically got me into Valiant. I've got doubles one of them is in better condition than the other, but just marginally. I'd say they're both 9s. Is Ninjak #1. I'm super excited for the new animated show. I think it's animated. Might not be animated. I'll have to look that up again. But super excited to... Oh, it's not animated. Definitely not. Super excited for the new show coming up with Ninjak, the British spy. Joe Quesada did this cover, or he was part involved in creating this comic, and I know that he's a bigwig right now at the Marvel Studios, so yeah, you can't go wrong with this one, that's for sure. And the cover on it is amazing as well, and it's nice chromium sparkly. When I picked this up, I didn't understand print runs, so unfortunately I thought it was like going to be a really key comic to have. It still might be, but the print runs on it are so high that probably not. But it's nice to have one to read and one to keep. So yeah, I'm really pleased about having those. And then after that, I managed to find Ninjak #2 as well, just also hanging around in a dollar bin. This cover, I'm not sure, it's not as beautiful as the Solar one, but it's still kind of interesting to look at. Most Ninjak covers I find are pretty cool. But yeah, it's got a skull, obviously, with water coming through it. Alright, this is probably the, without a doubt, best part of my collection, just based on how I found it and what it is, basically. So, have right here a Rye #2. Now, I found this at a used bookstore in a comic bin, and I actually was flipping through. I was getting really tired of being in this shop flipping through comics, and so I was about to leave, and I looked at a box underneath the table, and it had really nice. So yeah, found this Rye, and I think Rye is a really cool character, obviously, and the cover is pretty good too on this one. The main thing that makes this one valuable is the print run on it is so low that not very many people have one. And so even with it not having any kind of hype at all around it, it's already worth anywhere from 15 to, I've seen it selling on eBay for like $65. So I was really happy the day that I bought that. It didn't even come in a bag or a board. It was just kind of in a box. I guess people just drop off their collections at this bookshop. But I was super happy to find it, obviously, and definitely not being super careful with my backpack on the way home. Alright, and so continuing on with Rye, I actually managed to pick up, also at this used bookshop, the later issues of the Rye series, so 29, 30, 31, and 32. Obviously, darn it, just like with Solar, this place did not have the actual last issues, but they came very close, so I was really happy to find them. And this one is dealing with the storyline, super futuristic Japan, but definitely they're good reads, that's for sure. Alright, these next two I've got doubles. One of them's in worse shape, one of them's in slightly better shape. The Second Life of Dr. Mirage. I read this one, I wasn't too thrilled with the read, just because, I don't know, wasn't really that happy with it. I'm not really a big fan of this character, but if it does anything, it's decent to have, I guess. I might try, I've already tried to sell one for $1 on eBay, nobody bought it, so I guess I'm fine with it. Shadow Man number 0. Really happy to find this one. You know, it was just hanging around in a dollar bin. Saw it, obviously it's one of those chromium shiny covers that had huge print runs, but I love it, so. And Shadow Man is just darn cool, so why not? Alright, this next one, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, number 1. Turok is just super cool, and I love the idea of this guy who is running around killing dinosaurs, but he's a Stone Age guy. I know that it came from the Gold Key, and that he's being his character came from the Gold Key company and then was licensed to Valiant. Now that they don't have the licensing to Turok anymore, I think a different company is using Turok now, but Valiant has decided to relaunch his character known as Savage, and I think that one's just come out, so I'll be looking for that issue. Maybe I'll update this later. But yeah, Turok's super cool. Found that one at a comic book store that I never went to before. I just pulled it out of their bins and bought it. Alright, probably the worst, well, tied for worst shape comics with the Archer and Armstrong in my collection. I've got Harbinger number 12 and Harbinger number 16. These are just super beaten up. Really super beaten up. I have seen a number 12 that I could still go buy for $1 that's in far better condition, because I think I might just do that, because these two are just awful. But they were actually some of the first comics I bought, and as reading issues they weren't that impressive, so I was kind of discouraged with them. I almost didn't continue, but then I found the Ninjaks. So yeah, I don't know, probably wouldn't be they're not bad reads, I guess, but they're also pretty good fire starters or something, these two. There's really no reason for me to keep these around after I have the updated issues. Alright, next up we have Secret Weapons number 1. Also have doubles of this one. It's a super cheap comic, and it's got lots of printing. I haven't even read this one. I just haven't had the motivation to. I've already tried to sell a couple of these without any success, so that's okay, but kind of wishing that I didn't buy this one. I'm definitely discovering what I like and what I don't like through picking up these comics, though, that's for sure, and doing it at mostly $1 each or less is pretty good for me. I mean, how could you go wrong, right? Okay, so next up I have a Exo Man of War 21, and I picked this one up at the same comic show that I picked up the Harbinger 8 and the Magnus Robot Fighter Unity chapter. And the Shadow Man actually as well. So I don't know, I just liked the cover of this one, and Exo Man of War really impressed me, because I've also got doubles of the Exo Man of War 0 issue. I know that this one was also really overprinted, just like the Ninjak ones. But I don't really care, because this is honestly one of the best comics that I've read in a long time. I love the story of Exo, just how he, kind of the irony of it, how he winds up having this super advanced spacesuit and being still kind of mostly a primitive savage. Just the mixed up time of this kind of timeline of this character is so entertaining to read about, and also it's drawn really well. So yeah, I was really impressed when I read this comic, and definitely inspired me to keep going collecting Valiant. I'm I've pretty much run through the whole current collection right now. So the ones I'm the most proud of out of all of these are the Rye number 2. Move it up here. The really high grade Ninjak number 1. The super high grade Archer and Armstrong number 0. And just for entertainment value, the Solar Man of the Atom number 57. Just because the cover on it is just amazing. So yeah, probably gonna keep continuing to collect these comics over time, and maybe I'll update this as it goes along, as my collection becomes more complete. I'd really like to probably get a run of Ninjak going. The good thing about Valiant comics is that they're really easy to get into, and also to know exactly what you're buying when you look at them. So, you know, if I'm looking at a copy of Ryan the Future Force number 10, I know that I could pick it up, but it's not one to pick up for sure. Whereas if I find anything more that's, you know, an earlier Solar Man of the Atom, which I don't have any of, which I'd really like to do, then that's something that I should pick up easily. So yeah, I'd like to pick up more Solar and more Exo Man of War, and probably have a run of Ninjak. Also, I know that the Archer and Armstrong, I read those the first 0 issue and the 2nd issue. It's a really weird story, but if I see any more of those issues, then I'll definitely add to them. One of the things I'm really enjoying is that it's so easy to collect these too. I feel like I almost have like making a good dent on having all of the Valiant comics from the 90s, which is probably going to be my goal with this collection. It's going to be hard, definitely, but I've got my eyes right now on Exo Man of War number 1, so I've probably found that one for a good price, so I've got my eyes on it. I don't know if I'm going to buy it or not, but hey, it's Christmas time coming up. Maybe I'll gift myself Exo Man of War number 1. Alright, hope this was semi-entertaining, and yeah, I think that'll be all for now. Alright, peace.